to meet your employer.
How much do you know about fear?
All there is.
Not like this. Not like him.
Javier Bardem is the villain in this thing, and you might remember him from No Country for Old Men. I'd say it's a terrific picture. It's got some great action in it, some fighting on top of a train, running over the roofs of Istanbul. Here comes your villain right here. Check him out, and he makes a great villain, as you know from seeing him in other films. This movie opens this Friday. I tell you, it is a good one. Talk about a good one. We're saying Daniel Craig does a great job as 007. He also does a great job cooking, loves to cook, and I asked him what he's made lately, and this is what he had to say.
Vongole.
What?
Vongole.
Oh.
Yeah. Great clams in New York State.
So do you do it with white sauce then?
White sauce, yeah, yeah. And little chili.
Do you use garlic?
Oh, God, I mean, just bags of it.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Great to see you, sir.
Nice to see you.
Bags of it, he says. Pasta vongole, he says. Vongole, some people say it means with clams. And here are the clams. I'm gonna set those right there so you can get a nice little look at those. The smaller the clams, the better. Now we're gonna try and cook this in real time. We're gonna put 3 tablespoons of olive oil in this pan along with 2 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna get it going hot. I'm gonna add some shallot. Shallot is like an onion. I'll show you what it looks like before you chop it up if you're not familiar with it. But it is very good. And we got garlic. It must be 3 or 4 cloves here. So I don't know if it's bags of it, but it's a bunch. Okay, so it's getting pretty hot here. We got this going really nice and hot. We're gonna put the garlic in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the clams in right now too. I'm gonna stir those around a little. Yes, indeed. And then what we're gonna do with that also is we're gonna put a little clam broth in here, a small bottle of clam broth. It's gonna keep everything together. Don't want it to get too hot. I've got a half a teaspoon of chili flakes. He talked about that. And a big pinch of salt. You don't need a whole lot of salt because the clams come from the sea. There's a little salt in them. And the pasta water is salted also. So we're gonna put the rest of this in here. Small bottle and 1 cup of white wine. And now we're hoping that this is gonna be done after I cover it in the 4 or 5 minutes that we have allotted here. So let's put the cover on that and get that going. Stir the pasta. The pasta, now I talked about putting a little extra salt in here, and I've got 2 tablespoons of salt in the pasta water. And that sort of makes the pasta itself taste better. So that's what's going on there. And we'll use linguine. Linguine is a little wider noodle, which is cool. We've got some parsley here. We're gonna put half of this in right now. I don't really want half to open that, but there you go. Okay, rock and roll, baby. We need some steam. Okay, we're gonna put some more parsley in there later. Okay, we're talking about shallot. This is what a shallot looks like if you've never used one before. It's almost like a cross between garlic and onion, and it has way better flavor. And what you do is you break this in half. Your fingernails like this. I smell that cooking there. Do you smell that, Herb? So that's what it looks like when you break it apart and you chop that up. And the finer you chop it, the faster it cooks, which is a good idea. And then the garlic, he talked about using a bunch of garlic. And you know, you get a bunch of garlic, you gotta peel it, sort of a pain in the butt. Best thing to do is you can take your knife, put it on the garlic, this is not a knife, but you smash it like that, and then the peel comes right off of it. Makes it real nice and easy. So that way you can chop it up and you don't have a problem with it. Parsley, you chop ahead of time. My wife now, when she makes pasta vongole, she likes putting these cherry peppers in it. I put pepper flakes in it, but these big cherry peppers when they're hot are really good. When you use these though, sometimes you get a little bit of that vinegary pickle taste in it, but that's not a terrible thing either. So that's pretty good. Olive oil, I use extra virgin olive oil. There's all different kinds you can use, and olive oil, since you're using so much of it in here, is a big deal. So there's you can get Spanish, you can get Italian, whatever you like. So that's how that goes. Let's see what's going on in here. Okay, this is probably gonna work out for us. That's good news. And let's see what else is going on. Oh, yeah, I know what I want to tell you. The other guy who liked this dish was Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood talked about pasta vongole, but when he makes it, he puts a little bit of Italian ham in it. And he puts Italian ham in it, he puts a little can of tomatoes in it. So you can adjust this recipe any way you like. Just go ahead and, you know, get wild with it, put in whatever you like. You like a little ham, you like a little tomato. And the one thing I can tell you is the Italians never use Parmesan cheese or cheese on this pasta. So you are not a big seafood lover, right?
Nope. But they told me I had to come in.
Oh, you're so nice to me. Look what I brought you flowers.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Oh, parsley, okay. So anyway, You're gonna like this though.
I know, that's what you tell me.
Yeah, and have I steered you wrong yet?
Never have. And when something is good that is seafood, he'll say monkey's uncle, and that way I'll know
If
I
you don't
can
like it,
taste
I'm
it.
a monkey's uncle.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be in good shape with this one. It's going to be pretty good. In the recipe that you see online, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there, but I've also got a little extra butter I want to put in the end. So this clam should start to open right now. And what
So
I'm gonna-
I thought you always boiled clams. You don't do that?
No, you can. You can steam them, is
Oh,
what some
okay.
people do. But this, we're cooking them in the broth, and we're cooking them with a little bit of that clam juice to give it a little extra broth, because sometimes it's nice to have the extra broth in there. That way you can dip the bread in it. People like doing that too.
I do
And
too.
clams, if you get the nice little clams, not the big ones are always tough. And when you get the clams, what you do is I get this little brush like this. I hold them under running water and I just brush them off like this, because sometimes there's a little bit of silt or sand on them. And so sometimes you go get, clams casino or clams Mongol or something like that. There's a little bit of grit in the sauce, and that's never that much fun. So,
No, ooh.
So I wash it off and put it in a colander, and that's why that works out pretty good. We're gonna take a peek here.
At least it smells good.
Yeah, it's starting to open here. So what we're gonna do is, oh yeah, it smells good. It's gonna be
Yeah.
good. So we're gonna put our pasta right on top of that. And don't worry about a little water going in there with it, because,
Really? You don't have to drain it.
no, because what happens is the starch in the pasta helps a little bit. So you can start to see them opening there. Can you see that there,
Yeah.
Herbie?
Oh. He's not
You
asking
too, you
me.
can look too. There, they're starting to open up for us. Okay, I'm gonna close that up a little bit. Yeah, I got a renegade noodle here. What do you do with the renegade noodle? You put it back in the pot. That's what you do with it. Okay. So anyway, we started cooking this thing, what, about 4.5 minutes ago?
How long did you boil the noodles?
9 minutes. And what's cool about that is you get that going ahead of time. Don't drain the noodles, because if you drain the noodles, it sort of messes them up. Just do it like this when you make a dish like this, because the pasta water is good.
I made these noodles, the fresh angel hair the other night.
Oh yeah.
How did I screw it up? You're only supposed to boil it for 30 seconds. There's no laughing allowed. 30 seconds and it's done, right? Well,
If
mine
they're
turned
fresh.
out, and mine was.
That's
and
why,
it turned
yeah.
out a little mushy.
Yeah, you got that cooks just like that. You put it in the hot water and go like cook, and you take it back out.
Really?
Yeah, and it's funny.
think-
I made fresh noodles the other night for my wife, and I made it with linguine and
Ooh.
tomato sauce. The next day, she says, "You know what? I didn't like that pasta last night." I go, "What? What do you mean you didn't like that pasta?" She says, "It was a little too mushy for me." So
Yes,
if
that's
you
what I
overcook that a little
did.
bit, and it's easy to do, it gets a little mushy. And that's why the dried pasta is not a bad thing. It's really sort of a cool thing, because it's got that little bit of bite to it, that little in the middle. They talk about al dente.
Yeah.
When you look at one on the inside, it's got a little tiny dot in it, which means it's cooked, but still a little al dente. It's like
Huh.
a little resistance to the teeth.
So funny, because I never cook, right? And I text Hal and I'm like, hey, I made pasta with this pesto sauce. So when you get home, there's actually dinner waiting for you. And that has happened like 5 months ago, right? So he texts back, he's like, ooh, and they put yum on the text, like, mmm. And then I text back 30 minutes later, I go, you better stop at McDonald's. It didn't turn out. So it was really disappointing.
So there it is. See, all the clams opened up for us. Now these clams, you say you don't like clams, but I'm going to put one on here just like this. I'm going to try and get you to try that. There's a fork if you want to try the pasta though.
Okay.
Now the pasta's going to be a little hot.
Oh gosh. Can I hold my nose?
Now I'm telling you, if you don't like this,
So you really want me to try that part?
you want to?
No. Is it a monkey's uncle?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You're going to like this. If I'm wrong, well, here it is. You ready?
This would never happen if that red light wasn't on. I just want everybody to know. It's good, but it's got a weird texture.
Well, tomorrow we're going to try raw oysters. What do you think of that? You will like the pasta though.